Have you ever noticed how you always choose the same people, just with different faces, as if there were an invisible force pushing you toward the same mistakes, the same patterns, the same pain? What if I told you that you're not attracting these people by chance, but because something inside you desperately needs them to appear? There's a truth that Carl Jung discovered, and that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. We don't attract who we want, we attract who we are. More precisely, we attract what we deny being. That person who repeatedly hurts you is not a coincidence. They are a mirror. A cruel mirror, yes, but a necessary one. They are reflecting back to you exactly what you refuse to face in yourself. And as long as you don't look within, as long as you don't recognize this shadow that dwells in you, you'll keep choosing the same person with different names and stories. Jung called this the shadow. That part of ourselves that we repress, that we hide beneath the mask of the polite, successful person who has everything under control. But the shadow doesn't disappear. It manifests itself. And you know how? Through the people you attract into your life. Think for a moment about the last people who deeply wounded you. Now ask yourself an honest question. What did they all have in common? I'm not talking about superficial characteristics. I'm talking about the emotional pattern. Maybe they were all emotionally unavailable. Maybe they were all controlling. Maybe they all made you feel like you were never enough. This pattern is not coincidence. It's a compulsive repetition. And compulsive repetition, according to psychoanalysis, is always an unconscious attempt to resolve something that was left unresolved in the past. You're trying to heal an old wound through people who can only deepen it. It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. You know it won't work, but something inside you insists on trying. The uncomfortable truth is this: we are attracted to the familiar, not the healthy. If you grew up in an environment where love meant suffering, where affection came accompanied by rejection, your nervous system learned that this is love. Your unconscious memorized this pattern and now seeks to recreate it. Because the familiar, however painful it may be, gives us an illusion of control. We know that pain. We know how to survive it. The unknown, healthy love, that's what scares us, because it requires you to be a different person. And changing means dying to who you've always been. Jung said that everything we don't bring to consciousness returns as fate. Look at your relationships. They are not accidents. They are manifestations of what you haven't yet integrated within yourself. That cold and distant partner, they're showing you how you've disconnected from your own emotions. That controlling person, they reflect how much you've given up your own power, the one who abandoned you. They're echoing the abandonment you made of yourself long ago. And the scariest part, as long as you continue projecting the blame entirely onto the other person, you'll remain stuck in the same cycle. Because the solution is not in finding the right person. The solution is in becoming the right person. But here's the part nobody tells you. Recognizing all of this hurts. It hurts to realize that you're not the innocent victim of a series of bad relationships. It hurts to admit that you chose each one of these people. It hurts even more to realize why. Because it means looking at your childhood wounds, at your unfulfilled needs, at the parts of you that are still waiting for someone to come save them. And nobody comes. This is the most painful and liberating revelation. Nobody is going to save you. You're the only one who can do that. Now imagine that inside you, there's an emotional magnet. This magnet was programmed in your early years of life. Every time you felt you weren't loved enough, every time you had to adapt to be accepted, every time you swallowed your anger or your sadness to keep the peace, you were programming this magnet. And now, in adult life, this magnet attracts people who activate exactly these wounds. Not because you're a masochist, but because the unconscious is trying to give you another chance to heal what was left unresolved. The problem is that you don't realize this. You think you're simply choosing someone interesting, someone who attracts you. But in reality, you're choosing someone who will reopen your wounds so that you can finally treat them. If you've made it this far and you're feeling a tightness in your chest, it's because something in these words touched a truth you already knew but didn't want to admit. And if you're willing to go deeper with me, to question everything you thought you knew about love and relationships, then subscribe to this channel, because this journey of self-knowledge is just beginning, and what comes next can completely change the way you relate to yourself and others. Let's talk about something Jung called projection. Projection is when you see in others what you can't see in yourself. It's when you intensely hate a characteristic in someone because that characteristic also exists in you, but you've repressed it so much that you can only see it reflected in the other person. For example, you detest manipulative people, but have you stopped to think how many times you've manipulated situations and people in subtle ways to get what you wanted? You criticize people who are emotionally explosive, but what about all that anger you swallow and turn into silent resentment? You despise selfish people, but how many times have you stopped being authentic to please others, sacrificing your own needs? The person who destroys you is not your opposite. They are your shadow complement. They are acting out in an exaggerated and conscious way what you do in a subtle and unconscious way. And that's why you feel such a strong, almost magnetic attraction. Because in them, you're finding the part of you that was exiled, banished, rejected, and the unconscious, in its strange wisdom, is trying to reunify you. It's trying to make you whole again, even if the path is through pain. Jung had a powerful phrase: until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Think about it. How many times have you said, "This always happens to me. I have no luck in love. All the people I choose are the same." You don't have bad luck. You have an unintegrated unconscious. And as long as you don't do the work of bringing your shadows to light, they will continue choosing for you. They will continue taking you to the same places, the same situations, the same destructive people. And here's the cruelest paradox. Often, when you finally meet someone healthy, someone who treats you well, who is emotionally available, who respects you, you feel nothing, or worse, you feel bored. You feel there's no chemistry, no passion. And you know why? Because your nervous system is addicted to chaos. It's addicted to the emotional roller coaster of toxic relationships. Peace scares you because you never learned to inhabit it. You confuse intensity with intimacy. You confuse drama with love. And as long as you don't detoxify this system, you'll continue sabotaging anything good that appears in your life. But there is a way. And this way begins with a simple but devastating question. What do I gain by maintaining this pattern? Because yes, you gain something. It could be the confirmation that you're not worthy of love, a belief you've carried since childhood. It could be permission not to truly commit, because destructive relationships keep you on the surface, never requiring you to be truly vulnerable. It could be the identity of victim, which gives you a sense of meaning, and even a community of people who also suffer. Whatever it is, you're receiving something in exchange for your pain, and as long as this secondary gain exists, you won't change. But there's an even deeper secret that few know. A secret that Jung discovered and that can free you from this hellish cycle. This secret is the following: the only way to stop attracting destructive people is to integrate your own destructiveness. That's right. It's not by becoming purer, more enlightened, more evolved. It's by accepting that you also have a shadow side, that you can also be selfish, manipulative, cruel, cold, that you also hurt people, that you also destroy, even if in different ways. When you stop denying your own shadow and integrate it consciously, something magical happens. You stop needing to project it onto others. You stop seeking outside of you what you've already recognized within. Shadow integration doesn't mean acting on your destructive impulses. It means recognizing them, accepting them as part of the human condition, and then consciously choosing how you'll deal with them. It means stopping dividing yourself between the good me and the bad me, and starting to see yourself as a complete human being, with light and darkness. And when you do this, when you finally accept yourself completely, you stop looking for someone to complete you, because you're already complete. You stop needing someone to carry your shadow for you. And then, for the first time, you become capable of choosing a relationship not out of neurotic need, but out of genuine desire to share your life with another equally complete human being. Here's the final revelation, the truth that will free you if you have the courage to accept it. You don't need more love. You need more consciousness. Love is everywhere, but consciousness, that's rare. The consciousness to see your patterns, the consciousness to recognize your wounds, the consciousness to admit your projections, the consciousness to integrate your shadows. That's the true journey, and it's not easy. It requires you to descend into the underworld of your own psyche, to face the monsters that dwell there, to look them in the eyes and say, I see you, I accept you, you are part of me. And when you finally do this, when you finally integrate all these rejected parts of yourself, something extraordinary happens. You stop attracting people who destroy you, not because you got better at choosing, but because you became a different person. Your emotional magnet was reprogrammed, and now you attract people who reflect not your wounds, but your wholeness. People who also did the work, people who also integrated their shadows, and then, finally, you can experience something that before seemed impossible, a love that doesn't hurt, a love that doesn't need drama to exist, a love that is simply peaceful. So if you're tired of repeating the same mistakes, if you're tired of attracting the same destructive people, the answer is not in looking for someone different. The answer is in becoming someone different. And this work starts now, with you having the courage to look within and ask the difficult questions. Who am I really when nobody is watching? What parts of myself have I denied and exiled? What do I project onto others that actually exists in me? These questions will disturb you. They'll keep you up at night, but they will free you, because the truth, however painful it may be, always sets you free. If this message touched something deep in you, if you felt these words were written especially for your soul, leave your like on this video. Comment below what was the biggest revelation you had watching this. And subscribe to the channel, because this is just the first layer of a much deeper journey of self-knowledge and transformation. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message, someone who is trapped in the cycle of destructive relationships, share this video with that person. Sometimes a single truth spoken at the right moment can change an entire life, and you can be the messenger of that transformation.